But we just wrapped up post episode, but we forgot to do the intro. So Dax out here, my cameraman, and we're gonna check out the inside of LA Shine, the one and only. They got the coolest place, so let's go check it out. Starting off with the lobby, why don't you show them right here? I mean, I feel like that's pretty classic, pretty vintage stuff, all for the aesthetic. And then you take it back to where the employees are. This is my favorite part right here. Hold up. Get a big zoom in on that.
The wolf.
The wolf.
Bradley.
And then, obviously, we got Dax's office right here. But this is where the fun gets started. And we have shown the big reveal.
Sure, man.
We got the sauna, basketball. You think I can? Money. Did you get that? Did you get that? No. A little ping pong, a little. Show them all the flags. And then what did you say this was?
Balance ball.
How does this?
Yeah, put it on the ground. Mm-hmm. You gotta stand on the club.
In the middle? I don't feel like that's that hard.
You gotta take your shoes off.
I gotta take my shoes off.
All right, let's see.
Am I about to fall? I don't feel like it's that hard.
Do it. Stand on it then.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yes, Frank, he does. There you go. There you go.
Yo, we're locked in. You get the point.
There you go.
So we got baseball for Beckham, Quick.
And that ball is belted! That may be in the upper deck!
How much did you pay these weights for? Because I feel like all this extra design was a little
They're
bit.
a little overpriced. They're proud of them.
Got the little weights right here. Get a little something in. UFC McGregor flag. Ilia Topuria would kick Conor McGregor's ass. You've heard it here live. He's the better double champ. But that's the inside of LA Shine headquarters. Don't forget right there. And hope y'all enjoy the video. Hope y'all enjoy the video. We're out. Back everyone to another episode of Enjoy Life. I'm your host, Casey Crutchfield. So we are on episode 55 of Enjoy Life. I'm so blessed, just even blessed to be here. And we're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana with a special guest, return of the Max, you could say. My dog, Dax.
What's up? How we
It's
doing?
great to have you, bro. Your palms a little sweaty, a little nervous.
It's hot here, dude. We're in the shop. We're doing a prank podcast, bench press over here. Hit a few layups, man.
No, it is hot in here. This is definitely going to be a quick one. I can feel it so dry.
I naturally have sweaty hands too, man.
I was about to say, I know you're not nervous on camera, bro.
No, you
Not
chill.
your vibe. But first off, thank you for coming back
Yeah, of
on the
course.
podcast. I really appreciate it. I love having old guests on because we almost like that first time is kind of a benchmark of who you were.
Of course.
And now, like, that was a year ago, literally over a year ago now, and you can literally look back on it and say, look at how much you've grown, how much you've learned, and all of this. So tell me, like, what's been up, brother?
Dude.
It's been a while, and I haven't seen you as regularly either. That's what it sucks.
I know, man. It's crazy because we opened this a year ago, July 2024. Which is also crazy. That it's been a year basically since the podcast. Everything we talked about in the podcast within 2 weeks changed. Wasn't going to Tulane. Didn't want to pursue didn't want to pursue anything like sports side. And was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back into the business side. Had low key given up on the corporate world. Almost like, dude, exact opposite. Went full send. Opened 2 businesses and immediately knew that I had bit off more than I could chew. And
like
so
always.
Yeah. Facts. And so 7 months in, we had and I don't know anything about classic cars. Basically, long story short, I acquired a classic car shop off of Airline over here. They were in Gonzales. They were in a 15,000 square foot warehouse, had 20 classic cars in the front. They had a rage room, and then they had axe throwing, and they had 2 employees. And show up, I like walk in, I'm like, man, they obviously know something about cars. Obviously, they have this many. And I watch one guy, and he's checking people in. He's like setting them up in the front. He's like, y'all be careful. And then sends somebody up in the rage room, hey, y'all be careful. And then turning wrenches. And suppose that dude was actually on Netflix rebuilding classic cars on Highway to Sell, believe it or not. Diesel mechanic, classic car mechanic, master electrician. And they were doing like 50, 60K a month, and they were spending like 70, trying to finance furniture on the business account, like all these crazy things. And they were about to get evicted. And they had 20 cars in the front, so I was confused. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's like, dude, like, we'll sell you the whole thing, all the accounts, the entire book of business, both the lifts, the air compressor, paint booth, everything for $4,500. And I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, we need to be able to just like pay the rent and not get evicted. Like both of them personally, not the business. The business was long evicted. They had like 30 days to get their shit out. They'd been raided by the FBI. It's a huge ordeal. And they were on the news for having a rage room in the first place. And like, it was a bragging thing, you know? And so it was interesting. And I did it. And so by the time we moved in here, I'd already signed on the warehouse. We had been doing epoxy flooring. Right when basketball season ended, I was going to stay at Nichols and do something basketball related again. And I think the salary was like $10,000. And I was like, no shot. And so started doing epoxy flooring just to get some cash, you know, and within like 90 days, like we had done $100,000 in revenue in a month. And I talked to my business partner, Connor, at the time, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, let's sign a lease. And I had signed a lease on this. And we had already got the warehouse. We already poured all 3 floors.
I'm gonna have to take a video with my camera of everything. That way I can add this to the video later on.
100%. We do
take a couple shots of me making.
We gotta move the ping pong table before this dude shoots a basketball again. Insane behavior. But nah, man, we had already poured the floors and everything. And you know, he was like one of the mechanics, someone who wasn't gonna get in trouble. He was like, man, I really like to still work on these cars. I don't need to be in charge of the money. He's like, I'm gonna mess it up. He's like, but I'd love to just be a mechanic. And he's like, and we can do it out of that shop you signed for. He's like, but we're gonna have to downsize a little bit. I'm like, cool. So within a month of me signing the lease, the floors were poured and everything, but we were like redoing everything. Like we were gonna, you know, so this gym right here was half that size. The rack was up against the wall. We had no room right there. Especially when you bring a car in here, the engine's getting taken out. That car's not moving. You ain't working out right there, you know, for a minute. And so we had that right there. We had the 2 truck lifts, and you'll be able to see in the video where the lifts were originally. But by the time we had moved in with them, they had sold the air compressor, sold the paint booth, sold one of the lifts, half the tools, and we didn't see any of that. And I had bought them. That was like a main part of the acquisition is that. And so I was like kind of confused, and they were like, sorry, bro, like we had bills. I'm like, okay, sick. And so I actually hired the guy who got in trouble as a mechanic originally too, because he was bad at taxes, period. I didn't know what he was doing, trying to run a business and be a mechanic at the same time. And so I wasn't mad at him for that. I was like, as long as you're a mechanic and I'm paying you, you know, as a mechanic, like me and you don't have a problem until I get served for you, you know, like it's cool as long as you can work on cars. So he charged me like $35 an hour as an expert mechanic. And little did I know, he's putting parts, and this lasted 30 days. He's putting parts in the cars backwards on purpose so that we have to call him to come back as an expert to redo it for the mechanic he had taught everything he knows. This guy's telling me he's a master mechanic, that he's got his master's in chemical engineering from Nichols. Because he's on my Nichols shirt. He's like, I went to Nichols, but I got my master's in chemical engineering. I'm like, oh, sick.
They don't even have.
They don't even have an engineering program. And so, yeah, bro, like we had. I just, because of the cars, I didn't do any due diligence. Like I did no, just like search history, nothing. I was like, I saw an opportunity and I was like, we'll figure it out. Like, you know? And so.
What do you think has been the biggest lesson from that?
Bro, it's crazy. Your parents, one day they're like, one day you're going to understand. You're going to say, I was always right. They always say that. And one thing, they weren't always right, but one thing I will say that they were definitely right on is that I trust way too fast. Somebody gives me a smile and a good solid handshake, eye contact. I'm like, all right, you know, it's whatever. What's the worst it could be, you know? And I had met this guy's family. I met his kids and stuff like that. And so I did want to help him. We lived in the same apartment complex in his house at Sawgrass. And so I was like, let's do it. And so we started, and mind you, in 7 months, having no clue what was going on, restored 20 cars, over $170,000 in revenue. And then I was able to stumble upon the best, in my opinion, humble opinion, classic car mechanic in this region. Mr. Bill, he's worked at every single.
Shout him out.
Mr. Bill has worked at every single manufacturer as their lead mechanic. Can tell you which ones to trust, which ones to not. Can tell you about anything, year, catalog, what model that vehicle came in, what have you. Can rebuild engines, can rebuild transmissions. And he works out of his house, and it's 8 minutes from here. And he was like, yeah, I have my own shop, I have my own tools, I don't need any of this. He's like, sell. He's like, liquidate the lifts. For his retirement gift for himself, he got himself a 12,000 pound truck lift to work at his house. And he's got a clock in his garage, clocks in and out when he's working. Somebody pulls in the driveway to talk to him, clocks out for the conversation. Billable hours, gives me an invoice. I pay him directly. I'm basically a middleman for him now. So only the parts come to here as far as the classic car side of things go. Get the parts, bring the bill. When they're done, the car comes here, gets detailed or tint and or both, depending on what they want. And we get a picture of them with the floor and the lights behind it, and they come get it. The best detail company in Baton Rouge, Extreme Detailing, shout out to them, right across from me. Huey's Epoxy, who I did the floors with, my distributor, right across from me. Metro Floors, one of my close friends, Hayden Shane, graduated from Parkview.
Give everyone their flowers.
Yeah, he owns Metro Floors in the front. They did the turf for me. They did a great job. And so just having, not just great people around you, but great business owners who have already done this for a long time.
Yeah.
My suite owners behind me right here, they own 7 Firehouse subs. They own the Thibodeau Firehouse sub, the Homa Firehouse sub, which was the #1 Firehouse sub in the country last year. Homa Firehouse subs. Customer satisfaction, sales, the whole algorithm together, like it's like a little equation they have put together of which one is the best, like efficiency, customer satisfaction, and sales. Homa, #1 Firehouse subs in the country last year. I know, dude. And they're behind me as well. They own Go HVAC as well, 2 awesome companies. And so we're in a good location. They're putting an interstate on-ramp right here for I-10. And so the location's amazing. We have a 5-year lease. Just super blessed to be able to have what we have now, because Bill kind of took the classic car side to his house, and I was able to turn this into an indoor
guy,
which is what I mentioned it as at the beginning.
What does it mean to like have such a good group of people? Like, it just seems like from what you're giving, like so many people are so willing to like do stuff for people. Like all these other businesses see you like just getting started. And they're just willing to help you. What does that mean to you?
It's awesome, man. Like even Huey's across from me. Shout out to Huey, man. He's a huge, started off doing epoxy flooring. Ended up becoming a huge distributor for a huge company. And I mean, he can tell you anything about anything. Like he has an epoxy store, but like he's rebuilding a Cadillac right now. He's got an Escalade out front. He's rebuilding. He's got boats, jet skis. That's his skid steer outside. That's his gooseneck trailer outside. He's helped me with a lot of things. He helped me cut my lifts down even whenever I was selling them. And he's just a solid guy. And just to ask him like random questions, like not about taxes or anything like that, but just, hey man, like when they miss a package, for example, right? And UPS brings it to the wrong place or whatever, and it's a customer order part that they paid for, like how, and he's like, bro, if everything's on paper, it's whatever. And that's a year ago, right? Now it's like, that's common sense. I can't believe I did so many things without signing the proper, documentation, what have you. And it's crazy, but we were grateful to be able to get this spot and then do what we did with it to where we had turned it into a fantasy factory. Bill's doing the cars at his house. And it got to the point where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, why are we even coming in here? We need to do something, And, we're talking to Quinn Michael earlier on the phone. Shout out to Q.
Shout out.
Whenever we're talking to him on the phone, his sister Logan, who I've known since I was born, she helped me with my branding. Shout out to Logan and Brand Nouveau. She helped me with my branding and logo suite for both businesses, Garage Americana and now LA Shine.
So she did the website?
Oh, yeah. Both websites, all the logo suites, everything, the whole brand strategy. And it's deep. Like I didn't understand it either. That's another thing. I had no clue. Like
I read it. It looks stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was like, no way you did that.
I know. No shot, dude. I had people be like, did AI do that? I'm
like,
that's
like, I must have just chatted.
Yeah, like even better, dude. And no, like Logan's a genius with it. And I didn't understand what any of it was. Like, and when I talked to her finally, I was like, I thought I was paying you to do like a website and all this. She's like, you didn't even get the website package. She's like, this brand strategy. And then when I had to like look into it, it took her like low-key like putting me in my place for me to be like, oh my goodness, like there's a whole thing that I would have never even like, what is your brand? When you think about that, like when you open a business, it's not just what is the business going to do? What industry is it going to be in? Like, what's your identity going to be? How do you want to be marketed to other people? How do you want people to like absorb it? And then like, use it, right? And so like LA Shine has been a thing for a long time. Like my buddy Ryan Estrade, shout out to Ryan, my boy, one of my brothers, bro. He has NOLA Shine. in New Orleans. He gave me the rights to the logo to make BR Shine. So it's the same logo, it's a big old pelican on it. NOLA Shine, BR Shine. His is black and gold, mine's purple and gold.
Of course.
Both have been a thing for years, right?
Right.
So LA Shine is just a conglomerate of that now, right? And it's not just detailing cars or going mobile detail a car somewhere else, not here, right? But it's now a mobile detailing product line that we have an e-commerce store for, that my tent company is now, my tent and auto spa is now going to be able to sell through TikTok shop and sell on Amazon and, do a lot of different things. Yeah. And so it's fun.
How important do you think it is to like stay up with those trends like that? Like you see like everyone is buying stuff off of TikTok shop or off of something. Like even the older people are like, I feel like my mom has mentioned something.
So that is true, but at the same time, like it's not like that was a strategy for us either. It'd be like go into TikTok. Like we made the brand, we did the logos, we kind of set up everything because we were in a comfortable position, right? When we were building the business, that like we're literally coming in here to work out and just like brainstorm all day, right? Yeah. If I brainstorm, like work out 3 times, play basketball, play ping pong, and just literally talk about the business for maybe the first 30 minutes of the day, call it what it is, and then we're binge watching Netflix. Yeah. We're like, we got to do something. Like it's cool to be productive and stay in shape and eat right, but like let's do something. Like we can't, while he's working on those cars, we're sitting here doing nothing, like collecting a check. Like let's do something with it. And so my business partner, Bradley, shout out to Bradley. He's sick right now. He'd be here. If not, he's doing a 72-hour fast, and on the 3rd day he got super sick, and so he's not here. But Bradley, actually, I've known him for a very long time, over 10 years. We worked at Mercedes-Benz together. He was a product concierge.
When you said that,
when I would sell a car, Bradley would then teach him about their car, all the different features it has, and everything like that. We're the youngest 2 guys at Mercedes for 10 years.
Definitely knew y'all were, thought y'all were this shit.
No, driving S classes to go get in. So it was like, oh, amazing, dude. Can trust Bradley. Yeah, can trust Bradley on a very high level. And he had a fish store, Reef Coral. They're huge and they're great. They're here in Baton Rouge. And he actually went open his own, like it, in Denver, and had been doing that for a few years. And as I'm transitioning into LA Shine and outsourcing to Garage Americana, he's like, dude, how's the shop doing? And I'm like, changing, bro. And he's like, he just calls me in that moment. And it was a God thing, man. Divine alignment, divine timing, something we talked about on the first podcast, very real. Called me and was like, dude, like, let's go into business together. And sure enough, man, big old Bert, sorry.
No, you're good.
But Bradley came to town, came see the shop. I told him, like, it didn't look like this. There was one lift still on the ground. It was kind of ratchet, low-key. We had a Bronco with no engine in it that wasn't moving. And like the mechanic had just run out at that point on that. And so I had no mechanic yet, right? Like me and Bill are still in like negotiations. Yeah. So I'm not about to just dump off.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and mechanics, they don't like following up other mechanics' work if it's not good. And so he had already come in here and looked at it whenever I was negotiating with him originally. And I'd approached him and he's like, I don't want to touch this. And he's like, if I do, I'm going to start completely over. I'm like, okay. And so, I didn't really know which way was up at the time. And I kind of was even thinking about trying to get out of my lease and just calling it quits and doing something like I always do. Like, hey, look, do something else. But
what's next?
And so I had a moment of like weakness. And then I kind of had like a come to Jesus where I was like, dude, like, we actually have a good position if you just kind of relax a little bit. And I actually posted something about this the other day. It was a quote I had seen, and it was like, everybody like works their whole life to be able to like provide shelter and shade like later on in life. And if you look close enough, what you've already built actually provides shade if you look for it. If you're looking for the wrong and everything, you're gonna find it. But if you actually are like optimistic and like positive, right, instead of having a dark cloud over your head at all times, you'll be able to see the positive in things and turn it into a positive outcome. And that's kind of just what we did. And me and Bradley, the first thing, during the whole time we were negotiating the partnership of like how it was going to be structured, every day we came in, cold plunged, worked out, infrared sauna, red light, like got optimal, man, drinking spring water out of the glass, Yeah, exactly. And just trying to like lock in on the things we can control. And then kind of just let everything fall. We didn't want to force nothing. Hadn't seen each other in like 5 years, like 7 years, actually, like 7 years. And we were like, dude, like, let's do it. And so we signed a partnership agreement. We got him moved into here. He liquidated his business in Denver. And then we started with the remodel again, second remodel in 7 months. Got 2 more things of rubber flooring over there to put the gym up, got the turf put in. And got the basketball goal, the ping pong table, remodeled the office, put the LA Shine stuff in there, ordered our first shipment of inventory of LA Shine. We've got 2 orders in here now. Set up, the e-commerce website, the drop shipping for that with Logan as well. Phenomenal. Looks like literally looks like she's done it for her whole entire life.
Of course.
And she's low key, like new to the game, but she's at the top of the industry in it. And that's kind of what we want to do. Perception's everything nowadays. And so if you have a product like with a lot of these chemicals that we use with LA Shine, I have a white label with a really good manufacturer. They carry all the liability for hazmat and all the chemicals in there, like all the permits for that.
Yeah.
They have that. Like I have no liability in that. I have a white label with them. I could take any chemical, any product in the world. I could send it to my manufacturer, pay them $300 for them to reverse engineer it, and then remake it and bottle it under LA Shine. And that's a blessing. I want to do something similar with Papa Earl, so where I'm going to talk to my dad soon and see if I can kind of help them optimize some things and kind of bring that into our conglomerate over here. Because right now, what we've learned with both businesses, everything's plug and play now, man. And if you actually have the right connections, if you can set up infrastructure early on, like you can make things pop. And we don't really we're not trying to target the TikTok shop and all that. Like we're not trying to get into none of these new trends. Yeah. Success leaves clues. There's a blueprint for everything. You can follow. People have already done it. People have already become millionaires, become billionaires. And that's not even the end game. Like right now, I've already achieved what I feel like I need to achieve. I get to see Beckham whenever I want. I can get him whenever I want. He can come over here whenever he wants. He feels comfortable here. He loves our new house. He's about to get a new puppy. I'm going to pick up in Vegas at the end of the month, a golden retriever.
Even though he forgot the baseball cleats before baseball practice, I'm going to call you out, Beckham. I'm sorry.
Forgot his cleats for baseball practice today, but he had all 4 of his chains on.
That mode for a second. I'm like, oh my God.
I said, you don't have your cleats for baseball practice? No. You got all 4 chains on though, huh?
It was the sunglasses on the hat, but it's like about to rain outside.
You gotta pick your battles, man. He loves baseball, loves playing with his friends. Didn't have his baseball cleats for practice, but nah, man. And that's like today, for example, though. That's just something that just provides. It made me emotional. Like at any time during the summer now, like he's here hitting off the tee over there, always comfortable all day. Playing basketball, whatever. Watching the Mighty Ducks at my desk. That's for me. Like that was always the end game.
Mm-hmm.
And like not a lot of people saw that. When I got into solar and I was traveling, I was signing leases everywhere, I overdid it. And I absolutely reorganized my priorities in the wrong way for a little bit of time. Yeah. I think it'd be hard for anybody at 25 years old, making the kind of money we were making, seeing the things that we were being exposed to. I think it would be hard for them to not freak out. And it's not an excuse. Like I was young with a kid. And to be honest, when I had a kid, I had just got home from the military. I had no time to slow down. I found out, less than 2 months after getting home, I was going to have a kid. And that's when I started working at Mercedes. And so it's just insane how everything works out. But, like you got to experience it today. Like I'm not in a crazy business mode. I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, you got to get up and cold plunge and you got to go hard, because you don't. You got to lay the foundation. And one thing I could say, I never knew what I was going to end up doing ever, not one time, but I always knew that everything I was doing was planning me for down the road. I had laid just small foundations in a bunch of different places.
And another thing I get from you is that, I like how you said, I don't you don't have to cold plunge, but you show up every day, no matter what. Mm-hmm. You show up every single day.
And that's another, I think, common misconception.
I think that's just like
I appreciate
an important thing.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to cut you off, my bad.
No, you gotta go. No.
No, like that's another misconception, bro. People sit on these podcasts and they tell you all these things you need to do and how to do it, and you got to be like turned up and you got to give it all to your business. Like it's absolutely not a flex to be burnt out and like be miserable from overworking and waking up. I'm sleeping 4 hours a night and I'm drinking like 3 energy drinks. Like it's not a flex at all. It's embarrassing. Like you're taking years off your life on the back end when at the end of the day, like there's no amount of money that can buy your time back. And so that's part of it too. It's like, you have to show up every day, but you don't have to show up 100% every day. Whatever you have available, show up with that.
You're just not 100%.
No shot.
Some days you feel like shit, or some days you might be sick, but it just seems like no matter what the issue is, you're still at least like giving effort and still getting better day by day.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. If you're at 50%, give 100% of that 50%. Like, if you're at 25%, you're 100% of that 25%. And you got to play the game, dude. You got to literally play the game. And there were so many times, bro, like in every single opportunity I was in. Before I peaked in, I was like, all right, I got to pivot and go do this now.
Yeah.
I had a moment of weakness and I was like, nah, like this isn't the end game. The end game's this, and I need to do this so I can make this much, this amount, this fast, so I can buy this. And in reality, you have to divorce the outcome and marry the process. And the second you do that, the things that you didn't even know you wanted start to appear, and they fall in your lap.
Yeah.
And it's because of the foundation you've already laid. And it's like, damn, like control the things you can control. Don't let things that you can't control stress you out. If you do, they will do exactly that. They will stress you the fuck out, for lack of a better term. Excuse my French, but like that's what it is. Solar was great. The money was great. The experience was great. But at the end of the day, I was burnt out. I was seeing my son minimally 3 to 5 times max a month, but literally took 230 flights in 2 years, had sold $80 million of solar, had 150 sales reps, and ended up coming home. Yeah, I was able to exit comfortably from solar in October of 2022, but like comfortably, maybe a little bit by some people's standards financially, not comfortable mentally, emotionally, even as like a dad, like fatherly. I was not, bro. Like I was just sitting there. I was just a zombie, and it was like my health had plumped. I looked cool. Like I looked like I was buff and in shape. If you knew, like, bro, if somebody would have like pulled up on me and like tested my gangster, like I had about probably 30 seconds in before I was gonna get lightheaded and pass out. Because I was drinking. I mean, I had Nichols, bro. Like when we came on the podcast the first time, ask anybody that played with Nichols can attest to this. I was drinking like 2 to 4 Bang energy drinks a day, and then I would not eat until after practice at like 5 p.m. and would hoop the whole practice. I'm trying to dunk the whole practice. We're like, there's a side getting water. I'm throwing lobs up to myself trying to dunk. Didn't dunk the whole season. Almost broke my hand on the rim 150 times. And at UIW, yeah, dude. And it was crazy because like even that, I was so happy. It was so fun, but I was doing it so wrong, bro. I wasn't eating. Like I was just overexerting myself, overstretching myself, being a yes man, making sure everybody was good, everybody was happy. And even that, it's like, dude, for what?
Yeah.
I spent so much time on the road, bro. Like spent so much time away from back home during that. Yeah. And it was finally like, bro, I came home. I was like, bro, I gave up on all this. Yeah, it was cool to be happy for a year and coach basketball and like be around all the dudes and be in college again. You know, that's cool. But I was like, bro, I got to get back after it. It's time, bro. Like, it is what it is.
Get back in the
Lock in. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Went 90 days doing the floors. I talked to even Connor with the floor, and I was like, look, dude, we're going to go our separate ways. And no hard feelings. He's still doing great. He's going to do my floor in my new house. Just because I'd rather him get the business, you know? He's a good dude. And he was like, yeah, no hard feelings. He's like, I don't even need a showroom. And I was like, bet, because I'm about to turn this into a classic car garage. He was like, you don't even know nothing about classic cars. I'm like, I don't need to. I'm going to figure it out. And
FIFO.
Yeah, FIFO. Learned that in Thibodeau.
Yeah,
but we did, bro. And that's just kind of where we're at now. Wasn't like last time, like I said, a lot of stuff changed. Didn't end up going to Tulane. Didn't get my master's from Nichols. Just got accepted to Southern University so I can do it here in VR. It's hot as shit here too.
All right, we're gonna
wrap it up
too.
And yeah, so gonna be doing the MBA program, Southern online, bro. Hopefully putting these on autopilot soon. You know, build another one.
What I wanted to know is, and like I said, congratulations,
of course,
by the way, on the Southern.
Appreciate that, man.
What are some of those future goals? You know, what are some goals after graduation? Like, what do you want to do with that necessarily?
Yeah, man. To be honest, this is the first time that I've never liked school. When I went back to grad school, it took a lot of like humility for me to be like, I'm gonna go sit in there and listen to somebody else talk and try to absorb that knowledge and then let them test me on how well I absorbed it. Yeah. You know, it was like a big ego check for me. I'm like, I can do it. Like, you're gonna be able to do it. Like, grow up. You ain't shit. That's what it was as a fact. And so still ain't. And it was a 10-month program, so it can't be that bad. Got re-prescribed to 5-ants and did it. And it was during COVID and everything like that. So it was crazy, right? But that was like it was a stepping stone for me. I was going to do it and be like, I got it, you know, notch under the belt. I actually want to do the MBA like properly this time so that I can learn about my business. Right. See where I can poke holes in my business even more, right? One master's from a business school that was more focused on energy management. Didn't really teach me about a classic shop garage or a tent and auto spa or how to drop ship or e-commerce or anything like that. And no fault to them. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But doing it online and it being flexible to where I can kind of almost make my schedule around my business. Like, what do I want to learn about right now, right? How to optimize that. That's what I'm doing it for. It's genuinely to make my business better and do it for the right reasons, like actually absorb the knowledge and take it with a grain of salt, because these people do know what I don't know. They know how to run businesses effectively and efficiently, right? So that's what I'm trying to do by doing it. And I just think 2 masters is better than 1, and then I'll probably get my PhD after that to make it even better.
That way you can be a doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor. Oh,
Dr. Deasy.
I don't think I can say that.
You will.
I will.
But
I respect it.
But with Beckham, he's playing summer ball now, dude. He's crushing it. Absolutely loves it. Had a game tying hit the other day against an 8-year-old team.
Beckham.
Monster Beckham, dude. He's wearing number 3. He's playing center field now for summer ball. He asked me to put Cruz on the back of his jersey instead of Norman, and we did not do that, but I did laugh. He's doing so well to where I think, to answer your question effectively, my end game and my future goals is just to continue to do whatever I can to be able to support him to the best of my ability to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
I told him today, so Grant, his uncle Grant, who was actually in the Navy with me, shout out to Grant, he was at field med with me at Camp Lejeune with the Marines. Awesome dude. Has been on 5 deployments, has 7 Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medals, has literally like wrestled with a terrorist on a ship, like has done some crazy stuff, and was at field med with me. And kids United, he got stationed here as a recruiter in Baton Rouge, and so he comes fishing with us and everything like that. He's always bringing Beckham like Navy stuff, and he came drop by today, and they made me tear up a little bit. They took a picture right here, and Beckham was like, "Man, I'd love to go play baseball at Navy or West Point with the Army." And I was like, man, so I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I would love that futuristic goal, man. That was cool to hear. So just continue to support him, whatever he wants to do, whether it be that or anything else, man. Whatever sport he's playing, that's his favorite at the time.
You're going to be that dad. You're going to be that dad that tune into on ESPN with the big Beckham jersey and all of that. You're going to be all decked out.
Of course, dude.
Yeah, I already know how you're going to be, but that's amazing.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I agree. It is hot in here.
Bad, dude.
So I'm going to go into the last question.
Yeah.
Why do you enjoy life, my brother?
Man, for so many different reasons, bro, honestly. But to sum it all up, not just because it's hot in here, but because I've been rambling for too long already, which is what got me in trouble a lot the last podcast. But
Nah,
it's completely fine.
I feel like we've done great talk. I feel
No
like
doubt.
we had great talk.
No
today.
doubt. I'm glad I didn't get canceled for the last one. RIP to that as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, chat.
Yeah, made
The lost files.
it all RIP. It's whole coexisting together, just gone. All of it involved. But man, I enjoy life not only because I get to have opportunities like this, bro, with amazing people like you, and have just great conversation and just kind of open up a little bit and a place to relieve some things. But at the same time, bro, I enjoy life because it's like Forrest Gump, man. You never know what you're gonna get, and the part of the journey is the end. Like Iron Man said before he passed away. He said, the part of the journey is the end.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready for a 10 yet because I feel like there's so much more to do, and I think that's why I enjoy life, is because the unpredictability of it. Like, what's next? What else is there possible? And I love hearing people be like, dude, what else? Like, just relax. Like, for real, you don't need to try to do all this stuff. There's nobody to impress. And at this point, it's like, I've never wanted to impress anybody less than myself. Yeah. We didn't post about either one of these businesses for a year. Literally went underground for the main reason of I got to stop with that. I was trying to show out for people that never cared about me for years. They don't give a fuck. And the reality of it is nobody does. Some people that you think would give the biggest congratulations and want to see you win so bad, you find out when this shit starts happening that they all have resentment, and that shit comes out quick. They show their cards early.
This is gonna sound real David Goggins cliche, but the congratulations is a lot bigger than all of the underground work that you see.
No doubt.
No one's really there for that, but once you do that, once you hit it big time, the congratulations, everyone's there for that.
Man, I knew you had it in you.
Yeah.
We were waiting, and it's did you? Because I remember you actually telling me.
What Drake says.
Bro, I had somebody telling me, we almost done chat. I'm not going to say the name. Somebody told me before I opened these businesses, before I even signed on this shop, they said, bro, go like get a job at like O'Reilly's or something, or like Home Depot, and just like thug it out. And like, I'm not hating on anybody. If you've worked at I've worked at Leroy's Chicken, bro. I worked at Reggie's. I've had every job you could imagine. I worked every industry. I'm not hating on any specific job. But after everything I've done, in my eyes, it might not have amounted to anything because solar was like a scam for us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I would have been in such a weird headspace in my eyes, like taking a step back from like almost pursuing my dreams of like not just being a business owner, but like just the freedom of my time. Like once you go, I don't care what anybody says, once you go into that 1099 life and you become your own boss and you're the only person responsible for your paycheck, like that shit's powerful. And like you get a rush like nothing else, and you want to continue and that's when everything does finally click. It's when you realize like, damn, like I'm gonna lower my overhead. We're gonna do this. We're gonna dial these things in, because if we do it right now, if you do the hard shit, life's gonna be easy. If you do the easy shit, life's gonna be hard. If you do the hard shit right now, it's gonna be a lot easier later. And so once your whole perspective changes, like, bro, I've sold so many of my jerseys, so many pairs of my Jordans, shit that you would never know. And
if you want to plug your boy on the low,
what size you wear?
10.5.
Nah, guy, like 10.5. I'll get you a pair before you leave, bro. You can put that on there too. We'll see which ones. But nah, man, it's like, it's so crazy, man. You got to enjoy life because, like I said, of the unpredictability of it, because you never know what's going to happen. One day, one conversation, one opportunity, everything could change. And sometimes you think that it's for the worse, but at the end of the day, nobody makes mistakes, especially God, right? Because it's part of it. Like, yeah, you're going to mess up. You're going to make real mistakes, but you didn't do it intentionally, and it was part of the journey.
Yeah, and you learn from it.
Always, because that's part of the journey. And part of the journey is the end. What is the end of this podcast? This hot shit here. Let's go. My dog.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Love y'all. We're out.